Good morning. This is Fellowship of Spirit in beautiful Farmington, New Mexico. I'm Jerry Lard, and we welcome you to this beautiful Sunday morning and are glad that you all could make it here to join us. We have several people on Zoom. If you care to identify yourselves, I know David, and I know Susan, and I know Yvette, but I'm not sure about the other two people, but we're glad you're here.
Hello, I'm Judy. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, so
And hi, my name's John, and I'm from Durango, Colorado.
Oh, wonderful. Good. We're glad to hear you from here too. Thank you. Okay. In the way of general announcements, the most important and closest one will be our yard sale, which is going to be next weekend. So if you will get a hold of me on Wednesday, I can meet you here anytime in the afternoon, close to the evening, to bring stuff in if you'd like. If not, I will be here Thursday from about 4:15 till 6, and you can bring stuff then. You can also bring it on Friday and Saturday. We're going to be open for the yard sale on Friday and Saturday, so you can bring it those days if you want to wait that long, but that's fine. If you want to bring it earlier, get a hold of me on Wednesday. My phone number is 505-716-7106. And other than that, please come to our yard sale and buy stuff or bring stuff. We don't care which. You can do both. Again, it will be next Friday and Saturday, the dates of the yard sale, so please try to come. Right now, we have Margaret with our prelude, I'll Never Walk Alone. Thank you, Margaret. And Susan Barnes down in Belize has our opening prayer for us. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning. I hope it's as beautiful there as it is here. And in North Carolina too, Judy. I hope it's lovely there. So let's prepare ourselves to allow that spirit to flow. So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath and feel that spirit filling every cell of our bodies. Creator, Mother, Father, God, we give thanks today for this great opportunity to come together in cooperation and to see all the beauty that is everywhere in this world. We give thanks for our health, for all of those, our loved ones, for all of those who are in need of our helping so that they can return to good health. Because one of the best ways to stay healthy is to make sure you receive 8 hugs a day. And one of those hugs should be from you. One that is filled with love, with peace, with joy. We give thanks that you now fill every cell of our body with those things. We give thanks that your will of peace and joy and happiness for us is also our will. And that we can walk with you in perfect grace through this world with balance, knowing that you always walk beside us in everything we do. We give thanks for our abilities to see in every obstacle a greater path towards greater joy, greater wisdom, and to fill our hearts with peace, joy, non-judgment, with cooperation with one another, with compassion. These are the characteristics so that others will know that our guiding light is you. For this, we give thanks. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Susan. We have a song by Margaret. This one is "The Lord is My Shepherd." In the songbook, it is 348.
The Lord is my shepherd, I'll walk with him always. Beside the still waters, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always. The Lord is my shepherd, I'll walk with him always. Beside the still waters, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always.
Thank you, Margaret. If you will read along with me our reflective moment. Love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another as we create an atmosphere of holiness, and so it is. And you're lucky enough to have me do the spiritual reading today.
All right.
I have this wonderful little book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. And there is page after page of wisdom in this book. I absolutely love it. Choose your battles wisely. Choose your battles wisely is a popular phrase in parenting, but it is equally important to living a contented life. It suggests that life is filled with opportunities to choose between making a big deal out of something or simply letting it go. Realizing it doesn't really matter. If you choose your battles wisely, you'll be far more effective in winning those that are truly important. Certainly, there will be times when you will want or need to argue, confront, or even fight for something you believe in. Many people, however, argue, confront, and fight over practically nothing, turning their lives into a series of battles over relatively small stuff. There is so much frustration in living this type of life that you lose track of what is really relevant. The tiniest disagreement or glitch in your plans can be made into a big deal if your goal, conscious or unconscious, is to have everything work out in your favor. In my book, This is nothing more than a prescription for unhappiness and frustration. The truth is, life is rarely exactly the way we want it to be, and other people often don't act as we would like them to. Moment to moment, there are aspects of life that we like and others that we don't. There are also going to be people who disagree with us and people who do things differently and things that don't work out. If we fight against this principle of life, we'll spend most of our lives fighting battles. A more peaceful way to live is to decide consciously which battles are worth fighting and which are better to leave alone. If your primary goal isn't to have everything work out perfectly, but instead to live a relatively stress-filled life, you'll find that most battles pull you away from your most tranquil feelings. Is it really important that you prove to your spouse that you are right and that they are wrong, or that you confront someone simply because it appears as though he or she has made a minor mistake? Does your preference of which restaurant or movie to go to matter, even though enough to argue over it? Does a small scratch on your car really warrant a lawsuit, or a small claims court? Does the fact that your neighbor won't park his car on a different part of the street have to be discussed at your family dinner table? There and thousands of other small things are what matter, what many people spend their lives fighting about. Take a look at your own. If it's like mine used to be, you might want to reevaluate your priorities. If you don't want to sweat the small stuff, it's critical that you choose your battles wisely. If you do, there will come a day when you'll rarely feel the need to battle at all. Thank you. And Margaret has a song for us. Alleluia. Alleluia? Okay, Alleluia. It's number 30 in the book.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, we have a relatively new speaker to us. If you missed him the last time, you're lucky to catch him this time. David Coon is in South Carolina, and he is a Qigong master, and he's been shared with us by Yvette up in Boulder, where he used to live. We're very glad to have him to be part of our speaker rotation and hope that you will enjoy his thoughts. Welcome, David.
Thank you, thank you. I'm actually in North Carolina, although I may be bilocating without realizing it, and I could also be in South Carolina as well, and not totally aware of it. Thank you for having me. I'm here to see whatever I can do to add to the spice of the pot here. So the title of the talk today is Clearing the Mind and Awakening the Heart. Um, there are so many titles now, so many books on spirituality. Since the 70s, really, it's kind of we're bombarded with more information in many ways than we probably need. And in other ways, the information is overwhelming to our senses. And the mind loves that. If we want to call that the ego, the monkey mind, it loves that because the greatest thing keeping us from our greater truth or greater level of awareness is distraction. That's it. The only thing that keeps you from the greater awareness of peace and centeredness, strength, these kinds of things that live inside of us is distraction, the mind. And another word for that distraction, and you can see this referenced in the Course in Miracles, is the word temptation. Failure will always be of the ego, it's never of God, but you'll ongoingly be tempted to join with littleness. That's what it means to side with the ego or side with the mind. So, in different traditions, including Qigong, which I'm here to talk about today, and I'm dressed in my, professional outfit, if you will. But I'm going to send you guys, as I said, some copies of my book. Just haven't gotten to it yet, but I will. So that you guys have some there at the center. And Qigong for Beginners, Your Path to Greater Health and Vitality. And this is like a slice of my teaching and my training. I've created 10 other mini books that are related to a certification program that I do online where we teach acupuncturists and massage therapists and so on. There's tons of information, but I want to give you a slice of what I think is important. For those of you that don't know, or even if you do, just a brief run on it. 12 years old, I'm on a hayride on Halloween. I jump out of the trailer, run across the forest to be run over on the other side by the same trailer, trying to jump in the trailer. It catches my right leg and runs over the whole right side of my body. I end up with a severe spinal disease. I spend the next 10 years, well, more than 10, but it really got bad around 15. So I got run over at 12. So from 15 to 25, those 10 years were some of the very worst. At 25 years old, even though I'd been practicing Qigong and studying all kinds of different metaphysical things for 10 years, I seemed to be making no progress, at least on the physical level. Emotionally and spiritually, I felt like I was making progress, but physically, I had not reached the tipping point that brought about healing. So I personally did not stop. It's one of my characteristics. I have a profound sense of resilience and fortitude. It's just part of my nature. And I kept going. And after 10 years, short version of the story is that 10 arduous years, very painful years, I started to reach some tipping points where I had so much energy coursing through my body during treatments and breathing sessions and things that I was doing with my spiritual mentors and so on, um, that it was orgasmic, it was painful, it was all kinds of things. And in the process, and in the process, um, I'm just getting a prompt here saying that you guys are doing something. I just need to say yes, and I think we're good. It's jumping in my video. Okay. Um, so after 10 years, didn't give up. I kept breathing, I kept practicing, I kept studying, etc. And I had probably about 10 different experiences that kicked it off where I started to experience my light body rather than just my physicality. And I had breath changes and chi changes and hormone changes and all kinds of things that left me free of the spinal disease, or at least 90+% of it by the time I was about 28. At 25 years old, they said my spine looked like I was 85. It was filled with arthritis, it was curved, all kinds of other things. So in the process of all of this, I trained. I ended up with black belts in Taekwondo, karate, Kempo karate, almost a black belt right now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jeet Kune Do and Filipino martial arts teacher, teacher of Qigong and medical Qigong for the last 40 years. So just give you a rough background. How can that help you? What is there something that I might be able to tell you? So the first thing is maybe it's just, oh yeah, and maybe it's a mind blow for you. But I have the Buddha sitting behind me. You guys have Jesus sitting behind you over there. These are masters. When I turned about 18 years old, walked into my first martial arts and Qigong school, I knew that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. Immediately had a sense of that desire to be a master, and not just desire to be a master, but as those awakenings started happening, and I had these profound openings in my physical heart, my energetic heart. I started remembering things, what you might think of as previous incarnations, memories of things, running into masters and teachers who said, "We were waiting for you. Now let us tell you about you." And then having them literally tell me things about me that no one could possibly know unless they were extremely psychic. And these masters would tell me that I was there to further my training. And that's exactly what I did. And I've been spending since I was about 18, I'm 56 now, so about 18 years old, I've been going from master teacher like that. And I live in a world that a lot of people don't know exists. They maybe hear stories about it in books and then they think, oh yeah, that's cool. That happened in, 10,000 years ago, maybe in Egypt or something. It doesn't happen today. It does happen today. And there is a small society that exists behind the common society that we're familiar with and politics and all of those kinds of things. And we're living very much in a deep spiritual practice. And as one of my teachers said many years ago, imagine right now if all of the monks that are on the planet, that are to the side of politics and to the side of every day coming and going and shopping in the grocery store, and if all of those monks were to just stop praying and chanting and meditating today, what do you think would happen on this planet by tomorrow? And that was a mind blow for me because I really got it. I really understood it. And I'd seen it already happen with small groups. And I never really thought about it from the sense of a million monks, let's say, meditating and holding space for everybody else that's like living our lives, we'll just say it like that, in a somewhat of a confused state of mind. So that's a profound statement and that's a profound realization. And for those that want to join those uh, levels of training, one thing that I would just share is that from this perspective, there's a rumor that in the Bible, before it was rewritten several times, but Jesus made the statement that a person needs to know many lifetimes before they ever come to understand God or know God. And of course, in Buddhism, they talk about reincarnation and so on. And then in physics, we have this idea that reincarnation may be a thing, but maybe it's not really. There's not a past, there's not a future. Maybe everything's happening right now. And many spiritual teachers will speak to this. So, and I'm speaking to it right now myself. So, with all of that as a background, and I know it's a mouthful, but we also have a short period of time. So, at least this time around. So, I want to hopefully give you some insight and maybe a few little mind blows. So here I have a chakra chart. Some of you have seen the chakras. These are the seven primary chakras. And in Qigong and acupuncture and so on, we have many, many other pathways and energy centers and meridians, these lines that run, if you can see that, all over the doll and all of these little points across the body. And in 1996, prior to 1996, acupuncture was considered a little bit of hocus pocus. These bronze statues were found from like 2,000 years ago that had all of these points all over the body. And many, especially in the West, thought this was just like voodoo, basically. And in 1996, two researchers from France discovered every single point on these dolls. Every single one of them blew their mind. And every single one of these points has a greater charge to it than than anywhere else in between the points or in other areas of the tissue. And when I was about 15 years old and I started learning to do this type of work, my fingers, before I even knew about acupuncture meridians and acupuncture points and so on, my fingers were automatically drawn to that place on a person's body, and I would immediately go there and they would say, "Ow, what is that?" Because every ouch point that you have on your body where it aches, and I'm gonna show you something before I go, a little exercise where I guarantee you almost all of you have some kind of ache. And so we're gonna show you where it is, and we're gonna show you how to begin healing with it and working with it. But every one of these points, when they get blocked along the way, you have less charge. You have less energy running through the body. You have less flow. So a lot of people talk about flow. A lot of people talk about awakening the heart. But I had the ideas at 15 of awakening my heart, but my heart was hidden under layers and layers of pain. What Eckhart Tolle calls Power of Now, calls the pain body. And for many, many centuries, thousands of years, technically, the body has been called the emotional body. So in my book, chapter 11, I believe it is, no, 10, chapter 10, I just reference it as the emotional pain body because Eckhart has coined this term pain body and it's become popular. And it is a fantastic thing that people are starting to have this awareness because what Eckhart is talking about, at least to some degree, because most of what Eckhart's talking about, honestly, is way, way above the average person's head. But it's awesome that they listen to it and try and understand, have some sense of understanding of what he's speaking to, because, and why is it going to work eventually? It's going to work eventually because what Eckhart is talking about lives inside every single person. The Christ lives inside every one of us. The Buddha lives inside every one of us. But that Christ, that Buddha, is unawakened. So what is this idea of awakening? This is, obviously coming from me, so take it for what it's worth. But what is this idea of awakening? We could say all kinds of things. Many people will pretend they've arrived somewhere and they're they're up here. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just trying to make an example. They're here. And then if you're ever that person in a moment and then you go behind stage and it gets too hot and you start getting angry and you start getting too angry, then so questions here. Okay, Qigong. Okay. So if you start getting angry, here's the beautiful thing about Qigong. Okay, beautiful thing about Qigong and the practices that I teach, martial arts included. We're not attached to what the emotion is. It's okay if you're angry. It's okay if you're sad. It's okay if you have shame. It's okay if you have guilt. It's okay if you have fear. When you transform any and all of those through various practices, of meditation, of Qigong, of yogic practice, of prayer, of mantra, of extended sitting, of extended periods of standing like a tree and standing tree meditation. These are all forms of alchemy. When you get the actual alchemy, it's not just an idea of love that sits on a shelf. You get an actual alchemy that creates an ecstatic feeling in your chest. When I had the first time that I had my heart chakra open in a way like I'm describing, I was roughly 25. I had the spinal disease. I had been doing a lot of work, Qigong, meditation, prayer work, shamanic work. I mean, you name it, I was doing it. And and just to clarify, I didn't need to, I tried the drugs in my teens, smoking pot and different things, mushrooms, LSD. I never had the kinds of experiences that I then had. So I did that for about 2 years in my teens. And then it didn't heal me. It didn't change anything in my life, just made my life worse, actually. So I left it all behind. And then at 25 years old, I had the kind of experience that I was hoping to have on mushrooms. And I literally just had this experience where there was a vortex of energy in my chest. I couldn't feel anything else in my body other than everything was tingling. I didn't know where the room started, and I left behind. All of a sudden, I became the energy of the room, and it was incredible. And then I had to follow up about another at least 9 of those, that literally in short version of the story, but it left me free of the spinal disease. So after many years of getting x-rays and seeing my spine getting worse and worse, all of a sudden it was gone. And so there's a lot here, and you can see me throwing out a lot. I'm doing it on purpose. It's not to overwhelm you, but it's also to point out that, people one day they wake up and they say, I'm seeking healing. I really want to heal. My life's been so hard. It's so hard. My life is so hard. I'm in pain. I have physical disease. And I'm not judging anybody. I get it, but I'm just trying to give an example. That same person, though, doesn't think to themselves, it's taken me 50 years to get myself in this state. That same person doesn't realize they've lived 5,000 lifetimes or 500 lifetimes. And their level of consciousness is sitting somewhere on this chart. And it's probably not sitting up here, because that's where awakened Buddhas sit in their consciousness. The average person is obsessed. If you yourself, it's a self-evaluation. I'm not judging or even evaluating. But if you're sitting in your root chakra, you're scared. You're fearful. You're afraid of scarcity. You believe in scarcity more than you believe in oneness. And we all have those moments, but some people live there all the time. People who are living in the second center, these are the people, and this is why this teaching that Eckhart is teaching, coupled with this teaching that I'm teaching, why they're so incredibly important. Now, Eckhart, if you listen to Eckhart's experience of his awakening, he had a meltdown during depression, and he had a thought come to him, and the thought was, he said, I cannot live with myself like this. And then he had the thought, well, who's this I that can't live with me? And he realized there was 2, not 1, minds. And in that moment, he had some kind of awakening, and there are other masters who speak to this. Here's my take on it. Take it for what it's worth. Everybody's got their own opinion. I'm just giving you my background and my opinion. And I've never heard Eckhart speak to this before or his memories about it. But I would bet any amount of money that he is a reincarnated monk times many. He is not somebody who just had depression and had an awakening and then started talking about the depths of the soul. So the second chakra is one of the first, second, I'll do it this way. The first, second, and third chakras are related to what Eckhart is referring to as the pain body. It is the collective of the mind noise and the emotional upheaval that people either A, are experiencing, or B, are trying to suppress. And if you are successful in suppressing your emotional upheaval, you're going to create physical disease, because there's going to be a pressure imbalance in your body. Your body cannot handle that kind of stress. So in Qigong practice, for example, we embrace all of the emotions that a person is feeling. We then work with the body. We work with these chakra centers. In ancient forms of alchemy, I'm just going to say a little bit more, and then if you want, we're going to do a physical practice together. In ancient practices of alchemy, like meditation, like yogic practice, like Qigong practice, which is a form of both alchemy and meditation, you may see pictures or may have seen pictures of the Buddha or a Buddha-like being, where this abdominal area is on fire. And you'll see this area referred to in Taoism and Buddhist and Zen Buddhist practices, etc., as a cauldron. That cauldron is where we can either A, what most people have done is dissipate their chi. The opposite of dissipating your chi, which by the way, Course in Miracles terms would be the projection. You're projecting your problems, your fears, and your emotions out onto the great projection, the mirror of the illusion. And now you're struggling with those people in your life, and your mirrors are coming back. And what you're facing is you're facing your own nightmares of your own emotions, unfinished business. So if you have unfinished business with anger, then angry people keep showing up in your life. And then if you're not practicing something like the Course in Miracles or meditation or something, then you immediately start judging those people. Jesus says to you, forgive those people and forgive yourself for that situation. That's actually an ancient alchemical practice, because when you don't judge other people, you actually keep the fire and you keep the heat. And as alchemists, we want to keep the heat and we want to keep the fire. Why? Because we want to set the lower belly on fire. Why? Because it burns up the fear, the anxiety, the depression, the greed, the envy, the jealousy, etc. And that's exactly what happened to me when I was lying on that table and I had my first experience, and I had what they call in India the Kundalini fire burn through my back and burn through my spine. And I got so ridiculously hot. And it was a massive upheaval of fear and tension and catharsis. And then all of a sudden, one of the greatest experiences of bliss. At that point in time, it was probably the greatest experience of bliss that I'd ever had. Absolutely fantastic. Take it any day. So, in a nutshell, that's what we want to do. That's what the practices are about. That's what Qigong is about. With Eckhart, even in his teaching, he leans toward Buddhism. He teaches other things. He doesn't proclaim to be anything. But if you look at the ancient history of the Buddhists believe that the Buddha enlightened by sitting next to a Bodhi tree and doing nothing. That's their opinion of it, their original opinion. And so they did not train the physical body at all. They referred to it as a big skin bag. They also weren't really dialed into this idea of many lifetimes, and wanting or needing to train the body so as to live longer, so as to not have to start over again as a child and not remember who you are, where you are, have to go through the whole parents thing all over again to get to a place where you can start practicing things that would evolve your soul. They wanted to stay on track with evolving their soul, so they wanted to live as long as they could physically, so they could do more meditation. And why did they do that? Because they wanted to prepare for the transition of death. Because when death came, well, what do you think their plan was? Their plan was to transcend death. But they had great ideas about how to transcend death. They knew they couldn't take their greed, their jealousy, their anger, their fear. So they spent their whole life burning it up. How did they do that? Qigong, yoga, martial art, meditation, fasting, mantra, all of these alchemical practices, including sweeping the floor, breathing practices, prayer for other people, forgiveness practices, compassion practices. Because at the end of the day, in these types of lifestyle, let's say, you will discover, you're all me and I know it. You are 100% me. You're me all day long. That's why I'm so passionate talking to you, because you're me. I have no anything else about it. So whatever state you come in today, we're not really having exchanges back and forth here, but if somebody came, they were sad, they were angry, they're grieving, they don't even like the delivery of my teaching. That's okay, I'll sit with you. I'll sit with you for a half hour, I'll sit with you for half a day and have tea with you. You're me. You're me. So I live my life in that way. I highly recommend you guys do as well. You'll get a lot further with your alchemy. When you start burning, okay? This is the realm of fear, realm of competition and survival. This is the realm of emotional upheaval. This is the realm of sex. It's the realm of family, community, belonging. This is some degree of independence, but you also have to work through your shame and your guilt here, and your own feelings for self-destruction. And then the movement in consciousness from here to here, they call the Great Leap, because it's such a great leap going from here to here. And by the way, when I had it in that healing session I talked about, my eyes were closed, but my head was filled with emerald greens and yellows, brilliant yellows and brilliant luminescent greens. All right. So what's a simple exercise, David, to make all that happen? How do I make it happen for me? How do I start getting it going in my life? And how do I get the You see, it's not mind by itself, it's not body by itself. It's mind, it's body, it's emotions, it's your mental mind aspect, your thinking and your thoughts, it's your awareness, it's actually your hormone system, and the hormone system is connected to the chakra system. And depending on what the mind is feeding the chakra system, well, then that depends what your cells are doing. And whatever your cells are doing, that depends on what the DNA is doing. And then that depends on what kind of cells are being replicated for you. You see, it's all one. It's not separate things. They're all one. Everything is one. You've heard the teaching before, but that's how it comes together. So here's the good news. The good news is you can get a lot done when you realize it's all one. When you realize it's all one and you stop fighting the fact that it's all one, you can get a lot done. So let's check it out. Wherever you are, you can do this seated or standing, all right? I'm going to have you rub your hands together like this, just a relaxed rubbing of your hands. One of the first things that you would want to do practicing Qigong that I do in almost every class that I ever teach, seminar, everything. So you're going to take the hands after you rub them, and you're going to put them down here to your lower belly. I want the thumbs at the lower rim of the belly button. Now I'm going to stand for a second. So my pelvis, it starts here, like the pubic bone is down here. My belly button is here. Lower dantian, we say, is right in this pocket, right here in between. I want my hands right there. This is where, if you want to, any of this that I'm talking about, including, if you want to be healthy and live to be 100, practice Qigong. That's Oprah Winfrey's Dr. Oz's comment. Right here, you want to reignite this. You also want to learn over time, just even it can start here, by bringing your mind back here, your awareness here, your mind here. Set your alarm 15 minutes early every day. And before you get out of bed, just lay your hands right here. Before you go to sleep at night, start laying your hands right here 15 minutes before you go to sleep at night. Do that for 1 week. Do that for 2 weeks. Practice what I'm doing right here. This is called standing tree meditation. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Stand like this and just hold this like this until you start having a feeling experience. Now, because we're, short on time and so on, I'm just going to give you that exercise rather than spend a bunch of time practicing with you, which I might do at some point. But I want to tell you what to expect. When you lay your hands to the lower dantian, that's what it's called in Chinese medicine, which actually means elixir field. And what is elixir field? Sounds like a bunch of woo-woo. Might have to do with hormones. Might have to do with healing hormones. So the majority of your lymphatic system lives there. What should you expect? You should expect to feel tension in your shoulders, your gut, your hip, your knee, wherever it is that the chi is blocked in your body, expect to feel it there. And your job, Eckhart's teaching you how to do it his way. I'll teach you similar too. We definitely have parallels, but he doesn't have many physical practices. Mostly they do seated meditation. But through these practices, our goal and our intention would be to burn it up. Burn up what again, David? The greed, the jealousy, the fear, the anger, the sadness, the past. Burn it up. Because when you do, then guess what? You become free. And instead of living in time called your past, guess what you begin living in? What did Eckhart call it? The power of now. You live in a present moment. And in that present moment, you realize everything is much more peaceful and happy and easy than you thought it was, because there's no past to pin you down. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you appreciated that.
Thank you very much, David. I, for one, am very thankful that all of those monks are praying, and I hope they don't ever stop.
Amen.
The other thing is, thank you for sharing that exercise. That's something interesting that, we can easily do for ourselves. And doing it at night before we go to sleep and in the morning, it's a great idea to start. So I look forward to hearing more about your Qigong. I wish you were here, but I look forward to seeing your book. Anyway, does anybody else have any comment they'd like to make to David? Okay, well, thank you again very much for being here, and we look forward to hearing more, and I look forward to seeing your book. Thank you. Okay, we have a song in the binder. We are one in the spirit, and Margaret will be singing and playing, and we will sing along.
We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. And we pray that all unity may one day be restored. And they'll know we are family by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are family by our love. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand, we will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand, and together we'll spread the news that God is in our land, and they'll know we are family by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are family by our love. We will talk with each other, we will share what we feel. We will talk with each other, we will share what we feel. And the bonds of our friendship will be open and real. And they'll know we are family by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are family by our love. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. And we'll guard each man's dignity and save each man's pride. And they'll know we are family by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are family by our love.
I love that song. Thank you, Margaret. That is a beautiful song. Okay, if you will join me now we have our celebration of abundance. Please place your gift over your heart and repeat with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Unlimited. I am prosperous. Okay, we don't have any children today. There's a car show out at McGee Park, and my family is all out there, so Rhonda is there, and so she can't do the kids. And a lot of the kids did things with their families over Easter, so They've been kind of busy this last couple of weeks. Summer's a hard time to get these kids together. It really is. But we will miss them, and we'll be glad when they come back to see us. Don't forget about the yard sale this coming weekend. Please contact me if you need to bring stuff by any particular days. I'll be available by phone and definitely Thursday afternoon after 4 o'clock. So bring stuff. I need stuff. I can sell it. Anyway, thank you all, and call me if you have any questions. And we have Bill for a closing prayer.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Bill.
The topic today is true success. When it all said and done, success without happiness is the worst kind of failure. Quote from Lewis Instock. Especially with financial, career, or athletic success, the work can take so much time and effort, the goal can become so consuming that we lose our original joy that we were seeking. Perhaps we wind up sacrificing the little pleasures and the time spent with loved ones in order to make it. Making it to the top of the ladder doesn't feel good if we are burned out when we get there. It's important to make it time along the way to feed our souls, delight in friendships, and laugh at ourselves. It may take longer to get to the summit, but we will get there with the personal energy and relationships to really enjoy it. The walk away for the week is, no goal is so important that I must fortify my sanity and joy to achieve it. Forfeit my sanity. I choose to make time for happiness along the way. And this is so true. We get focused on doing, we forget that it's being with loved ones and family.
Amen to that. Thank you,
Amen.
Bill. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you all. If you will join me up here, we will do our closing songs and prayer. And David, thank you again very much for being here. We
Yes,
really
thank you
do.
so much for being here again, David. We look forward to having your books in our study.
Play, or you want to just come down here and sing?
Oh, no. I'll
Okay.
just play.
Okay.
Oh, that might be, yeah. Very good, very good.
I actually said my pleasure. Thank you.
Study.
Thank you.
God bless America, and that our love stand beside her and guide her through the night of life from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with gold.
all for being here. Blessings to everybody on this earth.
Yes, indeed.
Amen to all.
Thank you,
Thank you for this
Jerry.
moment of holiness.
Yes.
Loving it.
I have to run.
Okay.
I gotta be back out there.
Back out of the.
Yeah, Lily's covering right now.
Pretty.